Hey everyone, and welcome to Blizzard Lighting's Eclipse DMX software tutorial part 1. My name is Joel. I am the product manager here at Blizzard Lighting, and any point as you're watching these tutorials, and if you have a question that you may need answered, you can contact me directly with the email address joel@blizzardlighting.com. That's JOEL. Or, of course, at any point in time, you can always email us at support@blizzardlighting.com. But today we're going to go through our Eclipse DMX software and try to get any beginner users up and running real quickly. And then as we move on through the software, if we have any further advanced users, hopefully we can help you out a little bit and explain some things for you guys. Alright, so let's jump into it. You have your two screens. You have playback mode and you have your programming mode. This is where you're going to patch your fixtures, where you're going to tell your fixtures what you want them to do, and where you're going to save your chases and your sequences. Your playback mode is where all your buttons will appear. And that's a nice thing here about Eclipse is that it creates buttons for everything. So whether it's a static color or whether it's a chase or a fade, it creates a single button. And then what you can do, which again we'll get into this, you can select multiple buttons to then make one button, and so they all will work together as in one tap, which is a pretty neat feature. Okay, so let's run through your top menu bar here. You've got your power, same as always. If you want to close the program, yes. You want to stop all running sequences, or no. Same thing will happen if you use the red X button up here. A new, that was going to create a new show for you. So if you don't like anything that you have currently, or you have officially saved your file to your computer, then you can go ahead and clear this. If not, you will lose everything if you hit OK. So we're going to cancel out of that. Your patch screen, or your patch button here, that's going to give you the option to load, edit, or create a new fixture profile. I'll get back to that in just a moment. Your save and your load buttons are designed to save a file that is specifically located on the computer that you're using the Eclipse DMX software on currently. If you want to transfer a file, a full show, to another computer that's running Eclipse, say you have one at home that you're programming on, and then you have one at your location that you're using, you would need to use the backup button to do that. So if you back up your current show and you select your drive that you're going to back up the file with, you need to use this function. Otherwise, it will not save everything that you need to when transferring to another computer. If you're just saving it onto your current computer and you're taking your computer with you, you can just click your save button. But it will give you the warning that it's meant to only save to this computer. Same thing with the load button. It's going to give you the same warning. It'll allow you to then select your ACF file and go through there. Your 3D viewer, we'll get into that into a different part once we've created some static colors and a chase or something simple like that. But it's a very simplistic view. It's not meant to be detailed by any means, just to give you an idea of what your fixtures would be doing. Personally, I always recommend to make sure that you are using your fixtures physically while you're programming. So as they are plugged in, they're either set up on a truss or they are at least set up in front of you, so you can see and make sure your lights are doing what they're supposed to be doing. The 3D viewer is nice, but is not meant to be everything. To me, I would never program a full show without my lights there. But that's just my recommendation and my personal preference. But again, if you guys have any questions, always email us, and we can try to help you out the best you can. Your settings tab, that's going to give you a couple different options. You can use a password to lock down the program. Your DMX refresh rate, there really isn't too much you need to change that. 40 hertz is standard. Your advanced, you can pretty much choose which file to start up the show on. Usually it'll save the last file that you used. So it's unless you always want to start up on a different file, it will always usually just come back up to the one you had previous. MIDI settings, if you are using a MIDI device to control your lights, you can specifically choose it right in that section. Your hardware, there is only one dongle that can be used, which is the Eclipse dongle. So there's really not too much you need to do in this section. And then the web server section is actually pretty cool. When you enable the web server and you have your smartphone or your iPhone, anything with like a touch screen or essentially anything that would give you the ability to have go on the internet, make sure that your computer and your smartphone is on the same Wi-Fi connection, just to be on the safe side. And then you can take your smartphone, put in this address right here, and it will automatically show up your buttons on your screen. So the same buttons that you would see here on this screen, once we get going, would actually appear on the phone. And then that will give you the option to walk around and control your lights essentially by hand and not have to be by computer. So that's a pretty cool feature. Right now we're just going to click done. And then last but not least, you have your help button and a couple of different things. Check for an update. You can always check for an update, but we will always, at least via Facebook or Twitter, we'll let any of our users know that we do have an update available for the Eclipse software, and you can download that right from our website. Okay, so as you can tell, I have two fixtures that I have currently already patched into the system. We're going to go ahead and do a couple more here to show you how that works. Real quick, creating a new fixture profile is actually very, very simple in Eclipse. Essentially, you take your DMX traits that are located in your manual for whatever light you have. So, granted, there is many fixtures that are built into the software, including many manufacturers, and I'll show you that in a second when we load. But if you needed to create a new one, you would go to this screen and just say you have a 9-channel fixture, put the name of the fixture that you want to use it in, and double-click here, and it gives you the options to choose what that channel does. And you can make this as simple as possible if you want. Remember, you can always email us either at support@blizzardlighting.com or me directly, joel@blizzardlighting.com, and I can create a profile for you, usually within a 24-hour time frame. So if there's something that you just don't have time to take to try to do it yourself, just email us and we will definitely get one back to you fairly quickly. But I do recommend anybody who's using Eclipse to definitely give it a try and create one on their own. That's going to allow them to just be more comfortable and get more familiar with the program. So for right this moment, I'm going to X out of this. I'm going to go back up to Patch, Load, Patch, New Fixture. So screen looks the same, except now you have your Select Manufacturer option. As you can tell, we have many manufacturers here, from American DJ to Chauvet to Elation, Eternal, Irradiant, just tons of manufacturers that are already pre-built into the software. And of course we have Blizzard Lighting. So we're going to go back up to Blizzard Lighting. We're going to select them, and it's going to give you all of the fixtures that we have already pre-set up into the software. If for whatever reason the fixture that you have is not listed, again, just email us. We'll make it for you, and I'll send you the file. And all you have to do is save it to your Eclipse DMX folder, and then it'll appear in here. Alright, so I have two Hotbox RGBW fixtures already patched, so I'm going to do two more of those. It's a 5 channel because your first channel is dimmer, and then you have your 4 colors, red, green, blue, and white. We're going to go ahead and select current fixture to patch. Because I already have 2 already patched to my DMX universe, it's taking up 1 through 5 and 6 through 10. The system already knows that you're going to start on channel 11. If I, for whatever reason, had, say, a 3-channel, something real simple as a 3-channel fixture next, and I wanted that to start on channel 12, and it's 12, 13, and 14, it's not going to give me the option for channel 11 because there's not 5 channels available. It would give me the opportunity to start on channel 15 and then go that route. 11 would just be blank. And so we're going to go ahead and add 2 more. In this situation, it will allow us to start on channel 11. Your inverse tilt and your inverse pan, that's really meant for a moving head fixture, of course, and we'll go ahead and we'll go through that in a different part of the tutorial. Just make sure your fade dimmer channels is checked and your fade RGB channels is checked. And then again, having your fade pan and tilt here checked in this point in time won't matter, but it would matter if we're when we do the moving head setup. So we'll go ahead and load patch fixtures. Now this one says this fixture type is already patched. Do you want to update the present profile? If you choose no, your fixtures will have a different profile. So I'm going to click yes in this situation, and if you were to click no, it's just going to allow them to, the first 2 will be on a different grouping, and the second 2 would be on its own grouping. I'm just going to make them go on all on their own, because you can always select them individually to do what you want with them. It's all individually able to be controlled anyway. Alright, so now it says, would you like to auto-create fixture groups for the fixture brand you are currently loading? Yes, and then 2 hotbox RGBW 5 channels loaded. Okay, so now I can move these around however I want to display them, whatever makes it easiest for me to work with them. I can drag and select all of them at once, or again, I can select them individually, and it just makes it easier. You can also right-click and select just the even, or select the first grouping, or select odd ones, deselect all of them. To me, it's just easier to drag and select. So definitely, just my personal preference. So let's go over to our function keys here. So this is actually really nice, and it actually makes using a computer software DMX control very, very easy. Your color bar here, especially when you have a 3-in-1, 4-in-1, 5-in-1, 6-in-1 LED fixture, it gives you the option to literally create whatever color you're looking for without having to use faders. So it's pretty nice. If I want to, make it a green, make it a dark green, a light green, light blue, sky blue, dark blue, purple, pink, it gives me that option to be able to use those colors very, very easily. This little check mark right up here will either use or not use. So this would be use, this would be not use. We're going to use it in this situation, your white and or your amber colors, because this is based on an RGB color palette. So there's also the opportunity here to change. So if you want to make it real easy on yourself, you can choose red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Make it easy that way. Otherwise, you can do like a color temp, which is really, really neat. You can do a Roscoe color and or a Lee color color palette, and then back to normal. Alright, so we're going to leave it at that for this part of the tutorial. We'll go ahead and go to the next. All right, guys. So here we are back with our Hotbox RGBWs that are patched. At this moment, I'm going to select all of them. I'm actually going to go to the faders here real quick and turn all these off so I get a nice clear hotbox there. I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to, make them red. I should make it real easy. Let's just right there. Okay. So this is our first color. It's our static color, red. What's really nice about Eclipse is that it allows you, as I said before, to create buttons and make it really, really simple. So you've got 4 hotboxes, and you want them all to do the same thing. Highlight them all, tell them what you want them to do, and then we go down here and we save changes as button. This is going to place a button in the playback mode up here when we go back to that over to that screen. So we've got our red color, we save changes as button, and here we're going to have a couple of different options. You can cross fade in, fade out. This is really meant for if you're going to be controlling a specific fade time between other buttons. Right now we're going to leave it at 0 because we just want manual control over everything. Default, or pan tilt only, color gobo only. You usually don't have to worry about that too much because you're programming what you want the fixtures to do. You do want to use sequence fade time and use fade scene setting. That's going to give you the option down here when you are programming an RGB effects, which is right up here. That's one of the functions, really cool built-in functions that Eclipse does. Or if you are creating a chase or a scene, you can speed it up or slow it down just by using this bar right here. So you always want that checked. And then auto start, audio, or manual start. I usually just do it as auto start to make it as simple as possible. Enter sequence button name. We're just going to write in red and save sequence. It automatically throws you over to the playback mode. Your new button is right here, where you can drag that and put that anywhere you'd like. And turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Okay, right now we're going to turn it off. If you notice, we go back over to the programming mode, and your hotboxes do not have any color to them. If you go back and turn it on, it corresponds. Now they're red. So again, off, back to programming mode. All right, so let's do it again. Let's do a blue. So they're all still highlighted because they're in red. We're going to select blue. We're going to save changes as button. Everything is the same. We're going to call this one blue. Save sequence. Automatically pops up. Drag it to where you'd like. Go back to programming mode. Actually, we'll make sure we turn that off. And we'll do it one more time. Let's create a yellow. Save changes as button. And yellow. Alright, so now we have 3 different static colors that we can choose from. So we have red, blue, and yellow. So it is literally that simple to create static color settings. Very, very nice. Now, if you want to, you could set this to a sound active, or you could lock that color on. Right now, I'm not too worried about getting into all that. We will talk about that later in the tutorial in regards to the audio in and how to allow it to respond to music. Okay, so let's go to the faders. So here, because these are all the same fixture, the faders here will all be the same. When you have different fixtures, say you have 3 different fixtures, you could highlight them all, and all the faders would appear for all of them. As long as you know where each one ends and the other one begins, you can easily control them. But I would recommend always programming each one individually if they were 3 different types of fixtures. So that way you don't mess with any of the faders for whatever reason that were for a different fixture. It may not give you the same result. In this case, we can do it all together. So dimmer on, 100%. It'll show you right here. Or if you back it up, that also corresponds that way. So we'll keep that at 100%. So what I'm doing is clicking and dragging upward a little bit, and you can even stop. It'll continue to keep going once you dragged a little bit. So we'll go ahead and turn that all the way on. Same thing with blue. We'll go ahead and turn it all the way on. If you're going a full color, remember you can always just click full or off. We'll do that same thing for you as well. And then you could add the white. Again, the white's not going to show on here, but it would show on your fixture. So that's why we always suggest using your fixtures in front of you when you're programming, because there are limitations to DMX software, and we want to make sure that you are programming exactly what you want to see, and that's where the fixture really does come into play to make sure it's in front of you. Okay, so now we have a purple. I'm going to save that change as a button. Okay, all right, and there's my button. So now I have 4 static colors that I can choose from. Turn that off. And now I'm going to go back over here to Playback Button. See this button up here? It's called Sequence Wizard. When I get into making like a chase or actually making a sequence, I'm going to go back to that. So that is a very easy option to make a simple chase and turn that into a button as well. So I will come back to that. What I want to show you next is this RGB effects. This is a very, very cool built-in option that Eclipse has for you. It gives you tons and tons of different color schemes that are built right into the program, and based on what you have, what type of fixture you have, it will do the different things for you. So let's just take the first one. So again, all of our hot boxes are highlighted. We click rainbow. It's automatically going to start doing a fade between all 4 hot boxes. Now, we scroll down here. We can make sure that fade time override is checked. We now have control. I can speed it up all the way if I like, or I can slow it down and make it a really, really slow fade. I'm a fan of a little bit faster, so we'll leave it at about that. Now, as you notice, it created a full scene for me. 144 different scenes. They went into one sequence. So it's going to always do that for me. Now, as simple as it is to create a static color, you now take this and save this change as a button. So we're going to call this rainbow. Save sequence. So now I've got 4 static colors and a chase. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And it stops. Let's create one more. Again, they're all still highlighted. We'll do a simple red, purple, blue, orange. And it's going to do that for us. Again, I can have control over that. I can make it a little slower if I want to do that. That's about good. I'm going to save, again, 48 scenes in this sequence. I'm going to save that change as a button. And we're going to call this red, blue, purple, orange. Save sequence. Alright, so now I have that option. The nice thing about Eclipse too, unlike some other DMX softwares, when you have this button going, you can go back to the programming mode and change it. So, see, I really like this. If I really like this chase, but I want it to be faster, it's not going to stop your lights from working, from your fixtures physically working, just because you go back to programming mode. If this is highlighted, the lights will continue to do what you're telling them to do. But what is nice is you do a fade time override, and now you have control over them, and they will respond to this right away. So now I've just taken that same chase that I had before, and I just sped it up. Go ahead and save that change as a different button, as in RBPO fast. And now I've got two different settings of the same chase. So right now it's still on the fast one. If I go back and I select this one instead, it goes back to the slow version. It's a very, very cool option that Eclipse has built in, where when you're in the programming mode, it does not stop you. It does not black out your lights. Remember, you always have control of your blackout option up here. Blackout. But when you go back to the programming mode, which a lot of softwares do, it does not black out your lights. Okay. So you have now completed 4 static colors and 3 different chases, all by using individual buttons. On the next part of the tutorial, we'll go ahead and we'll go into actually creating your own scene and controlling each individual light by themselves. But this should hopefully get you started and get you practicing with it. We'll be back shortly. Alright, and lastly, I just want to show you guys real quick how to create your own automatic chase here and fade. So it's actually really, really simple. You go ahead and create new, and then you can bring this down to 1, and that'll change automatically depending on how many colors you add, and pretty much just choose whatever you're looking to do. So let's do a police theme here. So we have red, blue, red, and blue. Alright, it's going to give you a number of steps of 8. You can go ahead and save that profile to the palette. We're going to call this police. Okay, save that. And you can either X out of this or create the chase right away. Now, because I didn't have any, if you notice, because I didn't have any hotboxes highlighted, it isn't going to do anything. You have to highlight the hotboxes and click it, and now you've created a police chase, just like that. Again, you can control it, make it faster if you'd like. You can do that. But let's just keep it slow here in the beginning, and we'll save that as a sequence. We'll call this one police. Save, and there it is. And so that's how you create your own automatic fade / chase. At least one of the easiest ways to do it.